towards the end of the month already, huh? Only feels like we just started. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Animation Station, your number one stop destination for anything and everything animation, including, of course, the boy, Sonic the Hedgehog. And today, we have a double review, because I fell behind because it literally took me hours to get the Stat Squad Awards all finished up. So, today's a catch-up day, which is why there's a lot of double reviews today. Well, not a lot, there's two, but you know what I mean. So let's start with this episode, episode 6, and this is when things start trying to come to somewhat of a conclusion, I suppose, at least this first arc, because for this episode we are back in New York City, and Sonic just ends up popping in as Renegade, and the whole Resistance are leading a charge against a bunch of these Eggman robots that we've seen before, and we've seen multiple times. And Sonic is at first a little confused, and Renegade is pissed at him. Especially because he poofed and left, and apparently, according to him, 9 also decided to run away. So, well, 9 ran away, and then Sonic got forced to run away because the shard made him go to a different Shatterverse. So, yeah, it's a interesting one. So, Sonic helps Renegade fight off the rest of these robots, and then he meets back up with Rebel, and she's also pretty pissed that he just ran away like that. And she's the one that tells Sonic, hey, 9 ran away, he stole the shard, and then left us to die. And Rusty Rose was reset back to being evil, so... yeah, so obviously Sonic feels guilty about all this, and he decides to show them that he's no traitor, and he wants to fight by their side to show them that he still wants to be on their side and is not on the side of, you know, the Chaos Council, sorry. So, a big battle erupts out of this, and during this battle, Sonic ends up reuniting with 9, who's now built his own plane-looking thing. And they end up going off into what they call now the Shatterverse. And 9's the one that pretty much comes up with the concept of the Shatterverse and this null realm where it's a complete clean slate with no other versions of other people, and how it transports from here to there and how everything changes. It's pretty much the episode that sets the rules for everything that can happen in the Shatter space, and these Shatters. So, after all this explaining, Sonic still wants to go back and help the rebels, but 9 does not want to, because he's done with this world, and it's given him nothing but misery. So, he helps Sonic get back, but then he just stays there. So Sonic gets back, they all fight, and of course the Chaos Council get into the mix. And kind of Rusty Rose as well, even though she's kind of taking a backseat in this one, being more of a commander for the Eggman fleet. And it turns out Rusty Rose also recorded Sonic earlier when he was talking to Renegade about shards and how he got zapped to another shatter space and stuff like that. So now the Chaos Council wants answers, so they decide to lead a full-on assault to force the rebels out of their base and find and capture Sonic so that they can learn more about these shards. And as they're all fighting and everything's going, action crazy like always, Nine comes back in and decides to help, but after he does, he says, hey, after I'm done helping you, I'm going back off into my own little world, and you're more than welcome to join me. But then the Chaos Council starts putting together that he has a shard, and his airplane is powered by this energy. So they decide to go after him, and with everyone else, including Sonic, distracted, he gets captured. But one thing that confused me in this episode is that when he does get captured, he's smirking, like he has a plan. But then in the very next time we see it, in episode 7, which I'll get to, he's obviously captured and being tortured. Like, why were you smiling if you get captured anyway? It's obvious you didn't have a plan. Was it just to leave people on the edge of their seat again? I don't know. Bugs me. But yeah, this episode's still great. No doubt. Sorry, I'm sounding Canadian for some reason. And of course, everything else is still really good here. So yeah, there's just a few little minor things about this episode that bug me. I don't know why Nine smirked, and some of the other little things are just little nagging nitpicks. I'll put it that way. But it's still a great episode, and it's still definitely noteworthy for setting the rules of the Shatterverse and these Shatter Spaces and this whole new, multiverse that Sonic has to explore. Okay, with all that out of the way, let's dive into episode 7. Oh man, where do I start with this? This might be my favorite episode of the whole show. Like, no joke. Like, episode 8 is awesome and all, and we'll get to it tomorrow, but I adore this one. Not only because it's pirates, which is, in my opinion, one of the cooler places that the Sonic franchise can go, but also because it just has so much detail and so much intricacy put into it. So, let's stop wasting time and dive right in. So, Sonic arrives at this new world, this pirate verse, I'm going to call it, and he ends up, what he thinks is just an endless bunch of water. But there's a itty bitty teeny tiny island sitting right here around this giant body of water. And of course, he tries to get to the island as he's free falling from the sky. However, he misses it by inches and falls in the water anyway. That one legit made me laugh. Like, because he was like this close to landing on the island, and he goes right in the water. Just Sonic's luck, right? And then we get to the introduction of the pirate iterations of his crew, where we have Tails, Amy, Rouge, Big, and Froggy, and Knuckles. We'll go one at a time here. Let's start with Tails, or Sails as he's called in this iteration. Really cool design. I love that he has a little mechanical arm, almost like a third appendage to help him do things, which is really cool. And he does still have his spinning tails, and he does know how to fly, which is also pretty cool. Then we go to Rose. Yes, I wish they came up with more creative names for these Amy's, but you know what? It's fine. Rose, not Rusty Rose, just Rose, who has a basic but very interesting design that fits her character. Then you have Rouge, or Baton as she's called in this iteration, and she is very unique. She can still fly with her bat wings, and she still sleeps like a bat hanging upside down, like we've seen in the previous episode when it was telling how New York City became New York City. But her design is also very unique and interesting, and the way they actually piratized it, to put it there. It looks really cool. And then we come to Big the Cat and Froggy. I don't think they actually give him a name in this version, or at least not in this episode they didn't give him a name. And then we have the Captain, Knuckles, also known as Captain Dread. This is probably one of the coolest versions of Knuckles in a very long time. Not only because of his awesome pirate design that's very reminiscent of Blackbeard, but also because he's just anything but what you'd expect a pirate to do, because he's friendly instead of, well, scary and frightening. He wants to party instead of actually pirating, and he has this deep emotional tale about how he used to be a pirate, but going after this, what he likes to call the Devil's Lighthouse. came pretty much broke his spirit, and it's why he became the pirate that he is. Now, well, sorry, excuse Roland, let's be honest here, but that also kind of plays into the comedy. But again, I just love his pirate-like design. It looks so cool. Whenever you put pirates into anything, you automatically have my attention. It worked when they had Captain Shadow and First Mate Sonic and Sonic Dash, and it sure as shite works here too. Like, it looks so cool, and I absolutely love it. And then, of course, we have Sonic's Boots and Kicks, where the boots are hover shoes, which is really cool, as well as the whole brown and yellow design. Sorry, brown and yellow. The brown and yellow design, which shouldn't work, but somehow works anyway. And not to mention, his shoes are actual boots in this version, since after all, he is in a pirate version of this universe, which is interesting. And then we come to the pirate ship itself, which is well designed, very, very distinct and original from other pirate ships in media. And they already announced, well, not announced, it kind of got leaked, that there will be a toy of this thing in 2023, and you bet I'm buying it day one, especially if Knuckles the Dread is the exclusive 2.5-inch figure they throw in there. Because seriously, this pirate ship is so freaking cool. And then as they're all talking, well, the day after they all meet and they party, Sonic starts to question, well, why... I'm sorry, but I can't keep wasting time here. I need to go help my friends. Like, it's very interesting, to say the least. Oh, and I almost forgot. Flashing back to the beginning of the episode for a minute. It starts by showing what happened to Shadow when the whole thing happened. Because we've seen Shadow fight with Sonic. We've seen him chase after Sonic up that same mountain that he crashed after giving that robot the Goku treatment. And now we see how he's in this Shadowverse and how he's actually talking to Sonic. Because right as it broke, he used Chaos Control, which allowed him to go into this realm in between all the Shatter Spaces. The only problem is, he's stuck there. Because he can't run on thin air. So, he's stuck in the Shadowverse, but he's not... That's why there's no alternate versions of him in this show so far, because he wasn't affected by it. He just used it to escape the actual paradox that shattering the paradox prism did to Sonic and everyone else. Which is why we haven't seen alternative versions of Shadow. Now we get to the thing that I really need to talk about, and this is something I've been kicking myself over for a while. So, the day after they all party, they end up being met by Knuckles the Dread's old crew. And at first it doesn't seem like much. It seems like, throwaway characters to service the plot. But then something happened after I first watched this, and then when I went online later. That's Jacksepticeye! Like, no joke, that's literally Jacksepticeye voicing Captain Jack, and I feel so stupid for not being able to recognize it as him. Especially as someone who has watched his videos for years, ever since his Happy Wheels series. That's when I first found him. But I still, I didn't recognize him at first, and I'm kicking myself for not doing so. But then again, I haven't watched one of his videos in over a year because of how busy I've been with this channel. Haven't had the time. So I can't be entirely surprised, but yes, I'm still kicking myself over it. Like, his name's literally Captain Jack. The jokes write themselves. And it shocked me that this was in fact Jacksepticeye. And what shocked me even more is that this isn't even the first time he's been in an animated show, as apparently he was also a voice in Bendy and the Ink Machine, from what my research was able to tell. But yeah, it's very interesting that he's in here in such a sideline role. Like, if you want to get a big name like Jacksepticeye, you'd expect him to be like the main antagonist of the Shatter Space or something like that. But no, it's just a quick little cameo character to help service the plot. Bit interesting, but I'll roll with it. But what also, I think another reason why I didn't catch it is because most of the actors they use in the show are Canadian. So, having a straight up Irish YouTuber voice a side character, I don't know, it's just weird. It's awesome, but it's also weird. Okay, I'm done ranting about me not being able to recognize Jacksepticeye. Okay, back to the actual review. There we go. Back to the actual review. So, they get on, and the crew hides because Dredd at this point is an absolute coward. And they all start talking smack about him, and then Sonic decides to go after him. Oh, wait, one last thing I should notice. Really cool, they're using a Chow and Crossbones logo up here on the hat instead of a Skull and Bones logo that you see on usual pirates. Even in SpongeBob they had that. So, really interesting little detail that probably a lot of people are going to miss. And of course there's the Sea Dog, and of course the biggest Easter egg of all in this episode, there is a sequence that straight up shows a segment from Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Not the movie, because it's not even in existence yet. I'm talking about the game, the Genesis game, where we have that pixel art, like the one they used for Tail for Nine's backstory. And this time, it shows Sonic and Knuckles fighting at the summit of the Master Emerald. And there's a few things about this. First, they talk, and it's the original Knuckles from the first episode, not any of these alternative versions. Who sounds really good here, along with Devin Max Sonic, who's killing it as always. And then, of course, there's the moment when he stops Sonic's spin dash. Yeah, that's a Sonic Movie 2 reference if I've ever seen one. And even a lot like Sonic Movie 2, they have those ring transitions in between going into this pixel art and when exiting the pixel art to go back to the main story. Like, that's a Sonic Movie 2 reference if I've ever seen one. So, yeah. And then afterwards, Sonic realizes that he can go after this shard, which turns out is the Devil's Lighthouse, and he can get it by using his kicks as a map, because his kicks light up the closer and closer he gets to it, as it's been established in the past few episodes in the other Shadow Spaces, in New York City, and the Primal Village, and so on and so forth. So, when this happens, that's when a submarine comes in. And it turns out it's Rusty Rose and more of those Eggbots from New York City, as yes, the Chaos Council now has 9, they now have a shard, and they are using its power to go into other universes. And I'm surprised it took until this episode for them to finally start crossing over with one another. Like, that's interesting it took this long. And then it ends with Rusty Rose about to blast Sonic and the crew pretty much down to sink into the sea. And that's it. Yeah, this is an awesome episode, plain and simple. Not just because has Jacksepticeye as a side character, which is just awesome, but also because of its pirate aesthetic, the way it continues the story, and the way that it also feels like its own thing. Like, it feels way more fleshed out than the Primal Universe, but not as fleshed out as New York City, because we've already gone there 3 times. So, yeah, not really much more you can flesh out of that. But I love how they sent Rusty Rose in particular, because at this point, I pretty much consider her a main antagonist. And I already said in the first few reviews of this that I think she's one of the coolest Sonic villains in a long time. And just like a certain other metal counterpart of a Sonic character, this guy right here, she's probably going to end up becoming a top 10 villain in the whole franchise by the time this series is over. Now, granted, unfortunately, there's only 8 episodes and it is incomplete because it ends on a cliffhanger, which I'll go on and on about tomorrow. But, yeah, needless to say, this definitely got my hype up even more for Sonic Prime, because I love the pirate world. I love the pirate world, I love everything about it, and I want every single piece of merch that's going to come specifically from this part of the show. Plain and simple. Like, And let's be honest, guys. Best pirate story since Black Flag. Let's be completely 100% honest with ourselves here. Best pirate story since Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Just saying. Okay, that's going to do it for me, and that's going to do it for videos for today. I'm officially caught up, and tomorrow we'll be back on schedule. So, thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to drop a like, share all the social media, subscribe, hit the bell, leave a comment, do all that algorithmic garbage to help the channel grow. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for my review of the as of now final Prime episode, as well as whatever's next in the Advent calendar. So, until then, I'm Jack Small of Animation Station, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.